Dear students, now we are going to discuss about the pharynx. What is meant by pharynx? Pharynx is a wide muscular tube seen behind the nasal cavity, oral cavity, and the larynx. What is meant by that? See this image. This is the nasal cavity. This one is the oral cavity, and below here comes the larynx. So this area, this is what the pharynx. See here we are having only one half of the pharynx. Okay, so this is what the pharynx. So pharynx means it's a muscular tube. This tube it is made up of muscles. Okay, seen behind the nasal cavity, which is the upper part is seen behind the nasal cavity, middle part is seen behind the oral cavity, and the lower part is seen behind the larynx. So this muscular tube seen behind the nasal cavity, oral cavity, and the larynx, it is known as what? The pharynx. So here in this image, this is a nasal cavity, then oral cavity, then larynx. So this colored area, okay, this is what the pharynx. That colored area, it is made up of muscles, and it is a tube. Okay, so introduction point that is clear. It's a muscular tube situated behind the nasal cavity, oral cavity, or mouth, and the larynx. It's around 12 centimeter long. Upper part which transmits only air. See, this is the upper part, this yellow colored area. See, it transmits only air, but the middle part, both air and food. Okay, then the lower part only food. So upper part transmits only air, lower part transmits only food, middle part is a common passage for both food and air. Okay. Now, based on the position, this pharynx can be divided into three parts: nasopharynx, oropharynx, and laryngopharynx. How? See, I told you, upper part which is seen behind the nasal cavity, middle part which is seen behind the oral cavity, the lower part which is seen behind the larynx. So based on this position, we can classify or we can divide it into three parts. Okay, the part which lies behind the nasal cavity, it is known as nasopharynx. The part which is seen behind the oral cavity, it is known as oropharynx. And the last part, it is the laryngopharynx. So nasopharynx, oropharynx, and the laryngopharynx. So it is divided based on the position. It is divided into nasopharynx, oropharynx, and the laryngopharynx. First, we are going to see the features of nasopharynx. See, first of all, it is located behind the nasal cavity, no doubt. Anteriorly, it communicates with the nasal cavity. See, anteriorly, it is connected to the nasal cavity. Then roof and posterior wall is formed by the body of the sphenoid. Okay. Then roof, where we are having a tonsil. What is the tonsil? Tonsil means aggregation of lymphoid tissue. Okay, or aggregation of lymphocytes. That is what tonsil. The tonsil, it is known as what? Nasopharyngeal tonsil. Where, see, this is what the nasopharynx. Its roof means here. Here we are having the sphenoid bone. I already told you about the sphenoidal air sinus. See this area. This is what the sphenoidal air sinus. Okay, so anyway, this roof is formed by sphenoid, which is part of the sphenoid body of the sphenoid. And here we can see in this image, it is not there. Here in this area, there we are having a aggregation of lymphocytes. Okay, that aggregation it is known as nasopharyngeal tonsil. Okay, that aggregation of lymphocyte is known as what? Nasopharyngeal tonsil. So clear? So in the roof, there we are having a tonsil. What is that tonsil? Nasopharyngeal tonsil. What is the importance of that tonsil? Inflammation of that tonsil is known as adenoid. So adenoid may block the air passage. So inflammation of that. Actually this tonsil, it's a microscopic structure here. Okay. So imagine here comes the nasopharyngeal tonsil. Swelling of the tonsil, it is known as what? Adenoid. During that time, it will become a honeycomb-like structure that may block the air passage. Okay, so the condition it is known as adenoid. Okay, so nasopharyngeal tonsil and adenoid, those 2 points are clear. Now, what are the other points of this nasopharynx? See, it is having an opening. This nasopharynx is having an opening. It is the opening of the auditory tube. Okay, or eustachian tube. Okay, See here, this is a nasal cavity. So here in this image, this is an nasopharynx. So this is a sphenoidal sinus. So here comes that nasopharyngeal tonsil. Okay. In addition to that, here we can see one opening. It is the opening of the eustachian tube. Okay. So first point, opening of the eustachian tube or pharyngeal opening of the auditory canal or eustachian tube. Now, next one, another elevation is seen. See, above the opening of the auditory tube, there we can see one ridge. This ridge is known as tubal elevation. Tubal elevation. So, tubal elevation is seen above the pharyngeal opening of the auditory or eustachian tube. Clear? So, this is what the opening of the eustachian tube. Eustachian tube that we know, which connects the middle ear to the pharynx in order to maintain the balance. Not balance atmospheric pressure on either side of the tympanic membrane. Okay, so see this one. This is what the opening of that tube, eustachian tube. Above that, this ridge is a tubal elevation. Posterior end of the tubal elevation continues downward as a fold. Now this fold it is known as salpingopharyngeal fold. Why it is known as salpingopharyngeal fold? See, salpingopharyngeal fold is a downward continuation of the tubal elevation. See, salpingo means tube. So from that tube to the this one. Salpingo means tube. Salpingo from the tube to the pharynx. That's why it's called salpingopharyngeal fold. So this extension, this is what the salpingopharyngeal fold. Like that, one more fold is there from this auditory tube to the palate. This is what the soft palate. So here it is in the image. It is not clear. So here one more elevation is there. That one is a salpingopalatine fold. Okay, so some features: opening of the auditory tube, then tubal elevation, salpingopharyngeal fold, salpingopalatine fold, nasopharyngeal tonsil. In addition to that, behind these structures here we can see one pouch or pocket-like extension. It is known as what pharyngeal recess. So pharyngeal recess means it is a pocket-like extension seen behind the opening of auditory tube. So these points are clear. Pharyngeal opening of the auditory tube, then salpingopharyngeal fold, salpingopalatine fold, tubal elevation, and pharyngeal recess. So these are the features of this nasopharynx. So nasopharynx, which is located behind the nasal cavity, or which communicates with the nasal cavity, roof is having lymph aggregation, or roof is having a tonsil known as the nasopharyngeal tonsil. Then opening of the auditory tube, tubal elevation, salpingopharyngeal fold, salpingopalatine fold, and the pharyngeal recess. Now we are moving to the oropharynx. Oropharynx, it is having anterior communication. Those things you have to read. Anterior communicates with the oral cavity, inferior communicates with the laryngopharynx. Correct or not? See, this is a oropharynx. So anteriorly it opens into the oral cavity, inferiorly it opens into the laryngopharynx, superiorly it is connected to the nasopharynx. Okay, here one important feature, presence of another tonsil. Here it is known as the palatine tonsil. This oropharynx is having one tonsil, that one is a palatine tonsil. This tonsil, which is seen in a fossa or a depression, it is known as tonsillar fossa. That fossa it is bounded by two foldings. Posteriorly, this fold is very clear from the palate to the wall of the pharynx. So that fold is known as palatopharyngeal fold. Anteriorly, another fold. That fold is extending into the tongue from the soft palate to the see this elevation. So this fold it is known as palatoglossal fold. Okay. So lateral wall containing a fossa known as fossa for palatine tonsil known as tonsillar fossa. Tonsillar fossa is having our tonsillar fossa contain palatine tonsil, and the boundaries of the tonsillar fossa anteriorly palatoglossal fold, where see this one from the palate to the tongue. Glossus means tongue. So this one palatoglossal fold, posteriorly palatopharyngeal fold. So that is what the peculiarity of this oropharynx, presence of palatine tonsil in the tonsillar fossa. The tonsillar fossa is bounded by palatoglossal and palatopharyngeal fold. Now laryngopharynx. Laryngopharynx communications. Anteriorly communicates with the larynx. See, this is a posterior view of the pharynx. You see, here comes the laryngopharynx. Anteriorly it opens into the larynx. Inferiorly it continues with the esophagus. Okay, here it is having one fossa. This laryngopharynx is having one fossa. That fossa is it is known as pyriform fossa. Here also we can see a fossa. See this area, this fossa. It is known as what? The pyriform fossa. What is the peculiarity of the pyriform fossa? Pyriform fossa is having a nerve. A nerve is passing through that pyriform fossa. That nerve is known as internal laryngeal nerve. It is supplies to the larynx. Okay, so that fossa is having an important nerve. See this small depression. Okay, this is what the pyriform fossa. What is the peculiarity? See this nerve. It is the internal laryngeal nerve. Okay, internal laryngeal nerve lies in that fossa. Then pyriform fossa. Those 2 points are clear. So these are the features of this pharynx. What are they? What are the pharynx? Nasopharynx, oropharynx, and laryngopharynx. So what is meant by pharynx? What are the features of pharynx? Those 2 points are clear. Now we are going to see the structure of this pharynx. This pharyngeal wall, it is made up of basically 5 layers. See this thin wall. It looks like a thin wall, but actually it is made up of 5 layers. See innermost mucosa. This inner surface is lined with the mucosa. Then submucosa, pharyngobasilar fascia. Then muscle layer. Then buccopharyngeal fascia. Okay, these are the 5 layers. See this thin sheet, this thin layer looks like a single layer, but actually it is made up of 5 layers. Okay, what are the 5 layers? Mucosa, submucosa, pharyngobasilar fascia, muscle coat, and buccopharyngeal fascia. We have to go through the muscle layer in detail. Muscle layer, two types of muscles are there. One is circular muscles, and the other one is longitudinal muscle. Circular muscles and longitudinal muscles. These circular muscles are otherwise known as constrictor muscles. What are the circular muscles or what are the constrictor muscles? Superior constrictor, middle constrictor, and inferior constrictor. Then what are the longitudinal muscles? Stylopharyngeus, palatopharyngeus, salpingopharyngeus. From the styloid process to the pharynx, stylopharyngeus. From the palate to the pharynx, palatopharyngeus. Then from the auditory tube to the pharynx, salpingopharyngeus. Okay, we have to go through that. First one, superior constrictor muscle. We have to discuss about the origin and insertion of the superior constrictor. It arises from pterygoid hamulus, pterygomandibular raphe, medial side of the mandible and the side of the tongue. See, this is what the pterygoid plate. From the pterygoid plate, the lower end of the medial pterygoid plate is having one hook-shaped projection. That hook-shaped projection is known as pterygoid hamulus. See this one. From the pterygoid hamulus or from this pterygoid plate to this mandible, pterygomandibular raphe. This fibrous band it is known as pterygomandibular raphe. This is the pterygoid plate. This is the mandible. These two are connected by this raphe. Raphe means nothing but the fibrous bundle. It's made up of fibers. That's why it's known as raphe. So this raphe, it is seen between the pterygoid plate and the mandible. It is known as pterygomandibular raphe. Now what is that pterygoid hamulus? Here we are having a hook-shaped projection. So this is what the superior constrictor muscle. Some fibers are arising from the pterygoid hamulus, then pterygomandibular raphe, then medial side of the mandible, correct now. Then in addition to that side of the tongue, and it is inserting to the posterior median raphe. There in the posterior side, see this is the posterior side of the pharynx. This is the lateral view of the pharynx. This is the posterior view of the pharynx. The posterior view there we can see a raphe, which is exactly seen in the midline. So posterior median raphe of the pharynx. See all these constrictor muscles. See this is a superior constrictor. Then here comes the middle. Then inferior. All these constrictor muscles are inserting to this raphe. See approximately here comes the raphe. So origin and insertion are clear. Now middle constrictor. Middle constrictor arising from, see this is a styloid process. Styloid process, and this one is a hyoid bone. So these two are connected by a ligament, stylohyoid ligament. Okay, styloid process, only this one. Styloid process, then this bone, hyoid bone. See, these two are connected by a ligament known as the stylohyoid ligament. Okay, so middle constrictor muscle fibers are arising from this lower part of the stylohyoid ligament, not the entire stylohyoid, only from the lower part of the stylohyoid ligament. And this small projection of this hyoid bone is known as lesser corn or lesser horn of the hyoid bone. Roughly, we can say it is arising from hyoid bone. May not go to the details. So it is arising from stylohyoid ligament and hyoid bone. From there, it runs backward and intersects to the same posterior median raphe. So lower part of stylohyoid ligament, then hyoid bone, inserted to posterior median raphe. Then the inferior constrictor, raster constrictor muscle, inferior constrictor. See, some fibers of this inferior constrictor. See, this is what the inferior constrictor. Some fibers are arising from this thyroid cartilage or Adam's apple. So that those fibers are known as thyropharynges. Then remaining fibers are arising from another cartilage. It is known as cricoid cartilage. So that fibers are known as what? Cricopharynges. So means inferior constrictor muscle is having two parts: thyropharynges and cricopharynges. We have to check. See, this is what the thyroid cartilage. So some fibers are arising from this thyroid cartilage known as thyropharynges. Then some other fibers are arising from this cartilage known as the cricoid cartilage. So cricopharynges. So the thyropharynges is arising from thyroid cartilage. Then tendon connecting thyroid cartilage to the cricoid cartilage. See, it's a single point. Tendinous band between the thyroid and the cricoid cartilage. That's all. Just not like the third one. Just a minute. Okay, so tendinous band between the thyroid and the cricoid cartilages. See, there is a band which connects the thyroid cartilage to the cricoid cartilage. There is a band. So thyropharynges muscle fibers are arising from thyroid cartilage and that fibrous band. Cricopharyngeal muscle fibers are arising from cricoid cartilage. It is arising from cricoid cartilage. All these fibers are inserted to posterior median raphe. See, this is what the inferior constrictor inserted to this posterior median raphe. So insertion is common. Origin we have to study. Okay, so these are the three constrictor muscles: superior constrictor, middle constrictor, inferior constrictor with the two parts, thyropharynges and cricopharynges. Then, as I told, longitudinal muscles, stylopharynges, arising from the styloid process to the pharynx, palatopharynges, palate to the pharynx, then salpingopharynx, auditory tube to the pharynx. And nerve supply is supplied by the pharyngeal plexus of nerves, blood supply, ascending pharyngeal artery, ascending palatine and tonsillar branch of the facial artery, both are branches of facial artery, then dorsal lingual branch of the lingual artery, and greater palatine artery. These are some of the important arteries going to the pharynx, and lymphatic drainage it drains into retropharyngeal lymph nodes. Okay. Yes, here I forgot to tell you about the Killian dehiscence. What is meant by Killian dehiscence? It's a potentially weak area between the thyropharynges and the cricopharynges. What is that? See, here I told you thyropharynges, then cricopharynges. There will be a gap between those two muscle fibers. Okay, between the thyropharynges and the cricopharynges, there will be a slight gap. That potentially weak area of the pharynx. See, other area of the pharynx, there we can see muscle fibers, but here there will be a gap between the thyropharynges and the cricopharynges. That is potentially weak area of the pharynx. It is known as what? Killian dehiscence. Then you have to read the Maltese lymphatic rib. Okay, so these are the some of the features of this pharynx. Okay, so what are the features? Let's go through the pharynx. What is meant by pharynx? Pharynx, it is a muscular tube seen behind the nasal cavity, oral cavity, and larynx. Then three parts: nasopharynx, oropharynx, and laryngopharynx. Then features of nasopharynx, features of oropharynx, features of laryngopharynx. Then wall of the pharynx. Then mainly the muscle layer of the pharynx, then arterial supply, nerve supply, and the lymphatic drainage. The remaining details that you have to read from your textbook.